DATADUMPY.
You may have heard the story that black children were once used as bait for alligators in the American South. It sounds unbelievable, but the real history and the way this myth was used is even more disturbing than the rumor. The phrase alligator bait didn't begin as a horror story. It began as racist propaganda. In the early 1900s, during the Jim Crow era, postcards and advertisements often featured caricatures of black children in swamps, being chased or even eaten by alligators. These weren't real depictions. They were jokes, printed, sold, and collected, made to portray black children as less than human. The gator bait trope wasn't just cruel, it was commercialized. A handful of early 20th century newspapers ran stories claiming that black infants were used to lure alligators out of swamps, usually with little evidence and no names. Historians widely consider these stories sensationalized and likely untrue, but even if these acts never happened, the myth itself was powerful. It played into a broader effort to devalue black life, to depict black children as bait, animals, or property. The legacy of the gator bait myth didn't just live in newspapers. It lived in jokes, cartoons, and passed down warnings. These stories became a form of generational trauma, echoing the truth that for much of American history, black children were never truly seen as innocent. The most disturbing part, this wasn't seen as radical. These images were mainstream, printed in magazines, shown in cartoons, bought as souvenirs. The idea that black life was expendable wasn't hidden, it was normalized. When something as grotesque as a child being used for bait becomes a punchline, you're no longer just looking at racism, you're looking at cultural conditioning, and that conditioning shaped policy, policing, and public perception for generations. The alligator bait myth may not be fact, but it was believed and used to hurt, and that makes it part of the truth. Thanks for watching DATADUMPY, where we unpack the stories they tried to bury. If you learned something new, drop a comment below. Let's talk about the myths that still shape the world today. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unsettling history and digital mysteries.